the New York Post is shitting on Kyle Rittenhouse for yawning during his trial. I was watching a little bit of it today. I know it's very boring to watch these trials. I was watching a little bit of it today. And I did catch him yawning twice in the short amount of time that I was watching it. And I go, somebody is going to stick it to him for these yawns. Drew, did you catch any of this trial today?
Yeah, I was there when this all happened, so I'm pretty sure this show is going to get clipped up with things that I'm saying right now. But I was there.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was actually night one when Jacob Blake was shot. I was in Chicago, and I immediately saw on Twitter that there was going to be a riot because people were mobilizing. They were attacking police officers in Kenosha. So I took it was like a $300 Uber from downtown Chicago all the way to Kenosha. It changed my life, though. It literally was the birth of my professional career.
You took a $300 Uber from where to where?
From Chicago all the way up to Kenosha.
And Kenosha is in Wisconsin?
Yeah, it's like a 2.5 almost. Yeah, it's pretty long. But so when I showed up, the kids, the rioters, they were chanting BLM. They were already burning down dumpster trucks. They looted the entire little area of the town. They were breaking windows, breaking into libraries. All this footage went viral on my Twitter. So anyone could fact check me. It was on Tucker Carlson. It was all over the place last week. Yeah. So I just have to say that because immediately people are going to come in and be like, oh, he's lying. It was a peaceful protest. And it's just like, no, it wasn't. Like night one, I was there in Kenosha. I was literally one of the only journalists there on the first night it was like worldwide news. It changed my life.
What night was the first night? Do you remember?
Oh, was it August 24th?
Okay.
So I might have the dates wrong. Yeah. It was right there. But then a couple nights after, that's when Kyle came down. Right. And the reason why Kyle and the other dudes came down with the rifles was because the police were not doing what they should have been doing. And the National Guard was called out, and the citizens in the region in Kenosha were really scared. It literally felt like there was a hurricane or there was a tornado about to come and run through the entire town. People were boarding up their windows. They were writing on the boards, like special ed kids live here, or there are children that live here. Like people were in fear for their lives because Antifa, Black Lives Matter came from outer states and came down to Kenosha to riot. Okay. And part of the context that I want people to understand when you're watching this trial is I'm not giving you my opinion here. I'm telling you how it happened because I was there. Okay. And you're hearing the prosecution say, this was a peaceful protest. And people came because they were protesting the injustice of a black man, Jacob Blake, being shot. That's BS. That is 100% BS. On the first night, they rioted. On the second, all the way until Kyle was there and shot actually, he was a pedophile, the first dude he shot.
That's what I'm hearing is he had like many accounts of touching like young boys. Like it was really disgusting stuff. Yeah.
It was not a protest. They were committing arson, vandalism. They were looting. They burnt down multiple buildings, multiple car dealerships. All that footage is on my Twitter too. Like literally cars were exploding. It wasn't. So I just want your viewers to know when you're watching this Rittenhouse thing, it was not a protest because that's what the media is trying to say. Oh, this white boy came down to Kenosha to shoot a bunch of protesters that were protesting police brutality. That's not true. The town was being attacked. It was literally being attacked, and they were burning down buildings, and the police weren't. They were just kind of like allowing it. It's very bizarre, and that's why these people showed up. So yeah, you're taking a look at my Twitter. These are some of the clips.
Do you think this footage is worth highlighting here? Because this looks kind of new.
No, go down. That's Jack. That's recent FBI footage that was put out. But if we go a little further down, I want to show you. I want to highlight a couple of things. Well, hold on. Let me see this one. Go a little further down. Further down. This one. I don't know if you could play the audio.
Oh yeah.
So.
So this is
the first guy. Yeah, that's Rosenbaum, and he was asking to be shot.
Yeah, not usually the most with it people are yelling that out.
He was literally asking to be shot, and this guy was violent that night. And to give even more context to this, go a little further down. Your viewers are gonna love this, Chrissy. I promise. Like, go a little.
This is so perfect that you're here. I didn't know that you were like in
I was
all
there.
this.
This is all my footage. This isn't reposted. Go a little further down. This one. Okay, so play this. This is what started this off.
Dumpster on fire here.
So there's Rosenbaum. See the dude pushing it in the front?
Okay, so this is him. Yeah,
that's
red
him.
shirt.
That's the pedophile that Kyle shot. So let it play a little longer. Now look to the top left of the screen. See all the squad cars?
Yeah.
Okay, so what these guys were doing, Chrissy, is they were trying to, obviously, they lit a dumpster on fire.
Yeah, and they're pushing it towards this gas station, this ultimate station.
Either the gas station or police squad cars with them on automobiles with gasoline inside of them, with human beings occupying the cars. So, I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but I could pretty much tell you that this is maybe an attempt of murder. I don't know, but it looks like that to me. And so, do you see how this kid put it out with a fire extinguisher?
Yeah, pretty clutch.
Right? We're on point. So pull out of this and then go to the tweet. The one right before this tweet. Go up, scroll up. This one. So it led to this violent altercation where they were getting crazy. There's Rosenbaum again. Leading a pack of lemmings.
Rosenbaum, not a tall guy. Probably why it's attributing to his anger. I'm not an expert, but
look at him. Like literally.
Oof. We've all seen these people. They show up. Their energy is bad. Mm-hmm. Their energy is intense. This is somebody who wants to fight someone somewhere.
He wanted to fight, dude. And even the rioters around him were trying to hold him back.
So what is even happening? He just really wants to get hit or hit someone.
He wants to fight. He wants, and that's why he goes on to say, "Shoot me, dude. Shoot me."
What was that thing that just went flying?
Someone threw it.
Oh, someone threw it.
Yeah. Look at. Okay.
This reminds me of the Bagel Boss. I don't know if you followed his story a couple years ago.
So look at now. I'm going to give you guys a timeline here. You're going to appreciate.
Oh my God, this is you're like an expert,
right? Okay, so
just
pause this and then go up to the next tweet. This is a sequence of what happened. So after their altercation at the gas station, go up again. Go a little further up. So this one. So open it and then pause it. Okay, restart it, pause it, but restart it. So after their altercation at the gas station, right? So this is a sequence of events that people need to understand. Pause it real quick, Chrissy. So when they were trying, they lit a dumpster on fire. Okay, guys, they lit a dumpster on fire. They were either going to push it into a gas station or they were going to push it into police squad automobiles filled with gas occupied by human beings. And Rosenbaum was at the forefront trying to do that. And then someone put out the fire. He got triggered and then led a charge into the gas station to try and fight everyone with guns. Okay. So after he couldn't get a fight at the gas station, they all went up the street and they started chanting that they were going to go to Car Source. That's a car dealership. This would have been the third car dealership they torched to the ground. And they were saying, burn it down, burn it down. And this is when they go en route to the famous car dealership where Rittenhouse shoots Rosenbaum because he charged him from behind and they were going to attack him. So here you guys go.
And why did they choose these locations, just a gas station, just for the damage potential?
They chose the courthouse was right down the street. So Jacob Blake was maybe shot about a 8-minute drive away from the courthouse in Kenosha. And so they decided to go to the courthouse to riot there and then just tear up that whole little town. So it had nothing to do. It wasn't even where Jacob Blake was shot. They just wanted to make a statement because in 2020, where was Antifa rioting for over 150 plus days in Portland? At the courthouse, the federal courthouse.
Right.
So it was just their thing, right? It's a playbook that they follow. But so everywhere in Kenosha around the courthouse, all down the street, they went from the courthouse to burning down car dealerships, burning down buildings, and innocent people. It had nothing to do with Jacob Blake or the shooting, but they're psycho.
Yeah, it's people like this guy, Rosenbaum, who just they want to fight, and here's a perfect excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, this doesn't really look like any kind of a protest to me, which is how like the CNNs will try to frame it, like, oh, Rittenhouse came here to shoot at protesters.
Not at all. So here, pause it right here. Can we go back a couple frames? Okay, maybe one more. It's kind of play it and then play it and then push pause.
Okay,
a little further. Right there. Okay, so behind this sign, you can't really see it, but Rosenbaum is right behind that sign, and Kyle Rittenhouse is right next to him.
Here.
So then he's gonna charge him, right? Rosenbaum, the pedophile, is gonna charge Kyle, and Kyle's gonna run into the car dealership and be attacked by all these people. And the FBI released footage today that corroborates what I'm telling you guys. There was a drone out that night that we had no idea was there, but it shows that Kyle was trying to provide medical attention, and then they attacked him, chased him into the car dealership, and he did what he did. So watch, push play.
I'm gonna play this because I didn't know that they could have just random drone footage. Like I guess I just forget that drones exist.
See, they chase him.
Yep.
There's the dealership. Here are the shots.
And then this leads into the thing that everyone's seen.
Yeah. Boom, boom. Rosenbaum gets shot. All right. Yeah, this is me running to the gunfire. I don't.
This is you. This is your footage. You're actually shooting all this, and probably most people have seen. So this is your actual footage.
Yeah, this has been seen millions of times. Yeah, millions.
Wow.
So there's Kyle.
Damn.
That's Richie McInnes. He's a Daily Caller reporter, trying to provide aid to Rosenbaum because he just got shot. Kyle's calling someone, telling him that he just shot somebody. This is very graphic. I don't know if you want to play it on your YouTube, but you can pause it here if you want. But it's literally him dying.
I don't have a lot of.
Yeah. So it's up to you. But anyways, he died. And then so it's pretty graphic. But
we've all seen this, guys. Yeah, very sad. Like, definitely did not have to happen. Definitely, this guy.
Yeah. This guy, and I just want people to know.
He did not act as if someone who, you know what I mean? He wasn't trying to keep himself safe and out of harm's way all night.
That's the context to what led to this dude getting shot. And, whatever people are hearing, because we started this show with the biggest story in the United States right now with Rittenhouse. When you guys are listening to this, I'm not giving you my opinion. I was there. This is what I saw. And I have like tons of video to back it up. So it's like, it was not a peaceful protest. It was not.
But you look at, you'll look at like how CNN or how NBC, they're all the same, how they'll cover it. I wanted to bring this up because this is how CNN is framing this right now. The trial has begun. These are the 3 men he shot. And it really focuses on, this big section on Rosenbaum. They write more about each victim than they do, I think, about Kyle. And this big section about Anthony Huber. Oh, he did this, he did that. Such a great guy. He was so smart. And this section about Gage, who was the guy he wasn't killed, but he got shot in the bicep and like lost, section.
Because one of them was actually pointing a firearm at Kyle. So after Kyle shot this first guy, I'm telling you, it was like Lord of the Flies. These environments are very, very bizarre. They're unpredictable. And that night, I remember that night after Kyle shot that first dude, it was like this switch was just like flipped on. And all the rioters they went from being these violent arsonists to just like, it just went beyond. Like there was just nothing holding them back anymore. They
wanted blood.
They wanted blood. Yeah. This is my opinion. I personally believe after Kyle shot the first guy that they were going to probably execute Kyle publicly in Kenosha because of what he did. And that's why they were chasing him down the street. Kyle was running back down the street to turn himself into the police officers because of what he did. And people were chasing him. I'm telling you, it was very scary because it just, this mentality, they took Rosenbaum's body, they were going to put him in back of a car, like an ambulance or something. And then immediately they're like, where is he? Where is he? Where's that kid? Where's that mother effer? Where's that white supremacist? Like immediately. And then just, they were hunting him. Like they felt totally justified I believe if they would have got a hold of him and if Kyle didn't have a gun, they would have probably executed him publicly, took matters into their own hands.
Whoa.
That's what I
And
think
there's some footage that like I think most of us have seen. It's like Kyle's on his back, and then that's when someone came up and tried to hit him with a skateboard. Did that happen before or after this altercation, like at the gas station?
That was after.
So that makes sense. So that
Yep.
happened. He was, the guy got shot, and then they were like out for blood.
Yes.
And then that explains why there was like multiple, like at least 3 people coming at him. The one with the skateboard,
Yep.
the one guy that was holding a gun. And, I've like read a lot of opinions, like people who are, they have guns, they go shooting a lot. And I've heard a lot of comments like he showed immense restraint, Kyle, and, you could tell that his skills were up, were up. He wasn't just like, like a madman. Like he truly only shot when he had to, it looks like.
Here's what I'll say. I'll say this. If Kyle didn't shoot anybody, I wonder what would have happened. And this is my opinion. Is my opinion. Being there, seeing the people, being around the environment, and we're talking about like 2 or 3 days prior of violent rioting. Okay, so we've already seen what these people are willing to do. Okay, I wonder if they would have publicly executed Kyle in the middle of the street, if the radical left would praise it and come out and say, oh, he deserved it. That should have happened to him. You see what I'm saying?
Probably, like, because look at him. He's a young white guy carrying an AR, which immediately scares the left. Like they don't know anything about guns. They don't know how they work. They can't tell the difference between them, but they see a gun that they think looks scary and they go up. They completely label them. Oh, you're a white supremacist. You Trump supporter, right? If you wear cargo shorts, if you have an American flag, like these things that didn't used to be so divisive years ago are now all hallmarks of white supremacy, apparently.
Dude, you want to know why you're right? You want to know why you're right? Because when they were in the jury selection process, there was a woman, right? They were asking I think it was either the prosecutors or the defense. They came out and they said, do any of you have a problem with the image of an AR-15 or a rifle, right? Because that was used in this case. Do any of you have any issue with simply seeing it? Do you have a negative view of that? And will that cause you to be a little biased because you don't like a rifle? And one of the ladies came out and said yes. Okay, and listen, and then the prosecutor and the judge was like, okay, we'll explain why. She said, I don't believe that the public should have access to machine guns. This is how ignorant people are.
Oh no.
Okay, it's not a machine gun. Okay,
well, I've seen movies, so
right.
Yeah.
And so the judge had to explain to her between an automatic and a semi-automatic rifle, and it's just. And they asked her, they're like, well, would you issue a guilty verdict because you simply don't like, you have this opinion? And she said yes. So they got rid of her.
But she was honest. A lot of people feel that way.
Right. But to go to your point, you're right. It's just that so many people are ignorant to firearms that they form opinions on them without even truly understanding what they are, which is kind of like dangerous. I mean, if you view the world that way, you could be forming opinions without actually knowing what something is not a very healthy way to live mentally. I'll tell you that right now.
These 3 guys that Kyle shot, I mean, they're all white. So it's like, are we really still trying to make this case for white supremacy here? It's like, it's horrible that anyone was hurt, but like, you wonder how much worse it would have been had they not all been like white, white guys.
Yeah, they were black dudes. It would be a totally different story. I'll tell you that right now. But what the media goes with is they go with the whole white ally narrative, right? Oh, it was a protest for Black Lives Matter, so there are white allies out there, and so Kyle's a white supremacist because he shot somebody that wanted to support black people.
You can't say, oh well, Kyle was like a child safety ally, so he was gonna,
right?
He wants to protect kids from predators. Damn though. So that I think that explains like why he's such a media target. Like he's like, I think he is exactly what the powers that be don't want young men to to be poised to grow up into. Like, he's controlled. He knows how to like use a gun. He knows how to protect himself. He was running around asking if people needed medical. He was out there to protect a business. So he's all these things that I think they don't want young men to be, and they want to demonize him and set an example and scare, other young men to not, make those kind of moves. Like, yeah, don't stand up for yourself or others or your community, and don't try to, protect yourself in self-defense.
Exactly. And I think that's I'll tell people from someone that was there, okay, multiple nights of rioting in Kenosha. These people tore up buildings, looted, burnt down car dealerships. People were fearing for their lives in Kenosha. How do I know that? Because I saw that. And then even the day after, I went and talked to the people that had their businesses burnt to the ground. And this is what they were expressing. Okay. And a lot of what people were saying in Kenosha, they were not, they couldn't understand why the police weren't responding. I mean, the police were going back and forth with the rioters, but the rioters would just move to another block. They would move to another block. The police would shut down one block. And then the rioters would move to another one and burn down this place or vandalize this place. And that's why these dudes with rifles showed up, because the police were not doing their jobs. And even the National Guard apparently was called out, and it led to this. So I think there is some questions that need to be answered about why law enforcement took such a limp-wristed approach to what happened in Kenosha.
Right. It's either the cops are so afraid of having to reprimand a person of color, they're so afraid of potential bad optics, or they're truly lazy and don't care, or God, like what else could it possibly have been? Like, they just are afraid for their own lives, which in that case, like, better get out of law enforcement, I guess. It makes sense. Like, if people are watching other businesses burn to the ground, and it sucks because you look at him, he's so young still. What were I don't know, he should have had some other adults with him, like, to help, I don't know, protect him or protect the store. Like, I feel bad. Like, he felt like he had to do this all kind of himself. As mature and as good as he was, I wish that he had more support.
Yeah, I mean, it was totally the wild, wild west out there. It was, that's why so many locals and residents were afraid, because it was literally the wild, wild west. Like, why was it allowed for these people to riot, not just one night, multiple nights? Okay, that's completely unacceptable. And that's what we were seeing in 2020. So, it's just, you got to ask yourself, if we can't always rely on the government to protect us, right? That's why we have the Second Amendment, right? Well, some scholars would disagree with that, but predominantly the dominant thought is we have the 2A to defend ourselves, especially from a tyrannical government. Yeah, right. So it's like, what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do when law and order is not there, when you have literal, in my opinion, domestic terrorists? Because when you are using violence to accomplish a political goal, that's literally terrorism. Okay. And that's what BLM did. That's what Antifa does. And that's what was happening in Kenosha. So what are you supposed to do? Who do you turn to? You have to be able to defend yourself. And I just think a lot of people are asking themselves these questions, and it's like, so when you do, you get labeled, you're the one that gets labeled a terrorist. You're the one that gets your guns taken away. You're the one that gets slandered by the media. And this is what's happening to America, where these values that we once had are now being turned against us. And when we uphold them or we love them, we actually get painted as terrorists or a threat to the United States of America. It blows my mind, Chrissy, that people don't see this happening. I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. Like, we're talking about like constitutional values that we all get to share in, whether you're black, white, Republican, Democrat. People need to wake up to the reality that your constitutional freedoms are being subverted, and it's not a good thing, like at all.
Yeah, but there's just like the media fog and all the distractions and consumerism, like it all adds up to be like one big distraction. And like it wouldn't have taken that much, especially if there were cops in that car that we saw in the clip earlier. They come out, they're wearing uniforms. Like a lot of these people are pussies, just sort of like running around looking for a fight. A lot of them would have been like, oh, okay, the cops are really here. Like, okay. And they would have probably cut it out, and all they had to do would be like, hey, like quit throwing around literally dumpster fires into a gas station. Like they could have cut down on some of that chaos, but instead they're just sitting there.
And just to go to their credit, like those nights, it was just like this back and forth. The police, they would form a line, they would push the rioters back down the block, the tear gas, and the rioters were throwing rocks and throwing fireworks, explosive devices, and all this stuff. They were going back and forth, pushing the rioters down the street, hoping they would just disperse at some point. And you got to ask yourself, is like, if you call an unlawful assembly because these people are burning down buildings for multiple nights, arrest every single one of them, like immediately, no questions asked, right? Like,
yeah,
that was not taking place.
Maybe right, you're out there, you're part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe one or here, two are there, but it just, these people were allowed to just like run the streets, and it's like, you wonder why there are people showing up with rifles to defend a little town that had nothing to do with Jacob Blake being shot, that was being destroyed and burnt down.
That's people go, oh, there's chaos. Oh, we can get away with like damaging and destroying stuff. Like that attracts a certain kind of like unhinged person.